Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual. My name is Utsav Parekh and here are the top stories of the day. The Lebanon-based Hezbollah group says that 6 of its fighters were killed in Israeli airstrikes on Tuesday. The strikes targeted locations in southern Lebanon. One strike killed 5 people in Mayfadun and another killed 1 person in Adaysseh. Both attacks reportedly resulted in the deaths of Hezbollah fighters. Hezbollah also said that Israeli warplanes set off sonic booms over Lebanon's capital, Beirut. Hezbollah launched drone and rocket attacks at northern Israel, targeting military sites and a vehicle. The Israeli military intercepted some of the drones and reported several civilian injuries in the city of Nahariya. Hezbollah's attacks also targeted sites near Acre and other military positions. Hezbollah warned that further retaliation for Israel's killing of one of their top commanders is still pending. Hezbollah's leader, Said Hassan Nasrallah, has vowed to give a strong and effective response to Israel's attacks. Nasrallah said that Hezbollah is waiting for the correct moment to strike, but he didn't give details or a time frame. He also spoke about Hezbollah's concern for Lebanon's safety and its infrastructure. Meanwhile, Palestinian officials have reported that Israeli forces killed 12 people in the occupied West Bank on Tuesday. 5 deaths occurred in the Jenin area and 4 in Aqaba town. Israel conducted early morning raids in both these areas. The Israeli army has confirmed 3 deaths and 2 arrests in a separate raid in Kafar Qud, west of Jenin. Hamas has appointed Yahya Sinwar as its new chief. Sinwar replaces Ismail Haniyeh, who was assassinated in Iran's capital, Tehran, last week. Sinwar was previously the Hamas leader in Gaza. He will now head Hamas's political wing. The development comes amid rising tensions in West Asia. Iran and its allies have blamed Israel for Haniyeh's assassination and have vowed to take revenge. The US has urged both Iran and Israel to prevent further escalations in West Asia. This is according to the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Meanwhile, the Pentagon has warned that it will respond strongly to any attacks on US forces in the region. On Monday, an attack at an American base in Iraq injured 5 soldiers and 2 contractors. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has blamed Iran-backed groups for the attack. The US Democratic Party's presumptive presidential nominee, Kamala Harris, has announced her vice presidential pick. She has tapped Tim Walz, the governor of the state of Minnesota, as her running mate. 60-year-old Tim Walz was once a command sergeant major in the US National Guard and a high school teacher and football coach. In 2007, he became a member of the US House of Representatives. He became Minnesota governor in 2019. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz held their first joint rally in the city of Philadelphia yesterday. The rally attracted a crowd of over 10,000 supporters. During the rally, Harris said that Walz was a leader who would help unite the US and move it forward. She said that the Minnesota governor was a fighter for the middle class and an American patriot. Meanwhile, Walz slammed the Republican Party's presidential candidate, former US President Donald Trump. He accused Trump of fostering chaos and division during his presidency. Walz also called Trump creepy and weird. Bangladesh's Nobel Peace Prize laureate Muhammad Yunus will lead the country's interim government. His name was announced after a meeting between Bangladesh's president, military. This comes after weeks of violent protests that have resulted in hundreds of deaths in Bangladesh. The unrest has led to the ouster of the country's longtime Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina. India and Germany have kicked off a joint air defense exercise in the Indian state of Tamil Nadu. The 7-day multilateral exercise has been named Tarang Shakti. France, Spain and the United Kingdom are also taking part in the drills. Ambassadors from multiple Western countries are skipping a ceremony marking the Nagasaki bombing in Japan. This includes ambassadors from the US and Britain. Australia, Canada and the European Union are reportedly sending low-ranking officials to the ceremony. This comes after officials in Nagasaki decided not to invite Israeli diplomats. Nagasaki's mayor cited the risk of possible protests at the event over the war in Gaza. Now we move to climate news. Climate activists spray-painted football star Lionel Messi's mansion in Spain's Ibiza. They were from a group called Futuro Vegetal. The protesters held banners which read, "Help the planet, eat the rich, abolish the police." They blamed rich people for the global climate crisis. The protesters also claimed that Messi's mansion was illegally constructed. The second largest alpine glacier in Italy is melting gradually. According to the Italian Environmental Association, the glacier is melting due to extreme summer temperatures. Italy's glacier is melting at a rate of 4 to 8 centimeters per day. A wildfire broke out on a residential hillside in the U.S. state of California. Local authorities have ordered evacuations in San Bernardino County. The raging wildfire engulfed several houses. Over 200 firefighters have been deployed to combat the blaze. Tropical storm Debbie has led to heavy rains in the coastal American states of Georgia and South Carolina. At least 6 people have died in Georgia and Florida due to the storm. Meanwhile, the governors of both South Carolina and North Carolina have declared a state of emergency. Schools and colleges have been shut in the areas around the town of Karsog in the Indian state of Himachal Pradesh. The decision follows a heavy rain warning issued for August 7th. Several roads in the region are still blocked due to landslides that were triggered by a cloudburst on August 1st. A river dike was breached due to rising water levels in the Wanghe River in China's Liaoning province. Continuous rainfall in the city of Telling led to the breach. About 100 hectares of farmland have been flooded and almost 400 people have been evacuated from the area. Extreme heat is affecting megacities in eastern China. Temperatures in Hangzhou have been exceeding 40 degrees Celsius daily since last week. The city has banned all non-essential outdoor lighting shows to conserve energy amid the extreme heat. The mercury is also expected to soar to 40 degrees Celsius in Hubei, Hunan, Jiangxi and Anhui. The Japanese capital Tokyo In Japan's capital, Tokyo, over 100 people have died from suspected heat stroke in July. Medical authorities say that the majority of the victims were above the age of 60. Japan saw its hottest July since 1898, with the nation's monthly temperature reaching 2.16 degrees Celsius above average. On to business and tech news. Analysts say that Apple's deal with Google could be under threat after a US court ruling. Earlier this week, a court order said that Google has an illegal monopoly over the search engine market. Google pays $20 billion every year to Apple to make it its default search engine option on iPhones. The deal accounts for about 6% of Apple's profits. Analysts say that the court may order Google to terminate that deal. Elon Musk's social media platform X has sued a group of advertisers. The group, called the World Federation of Advertisers, has been accused of boycotting X. The group's members include firms like Unilever, Mars, CVS Health and Orsted. X has accused these companies of withholding billions of dollars in ad revenue after Elon Musk acquired the company. Social media firm Reddit has reported a 54% jump in its second quarter revenue. The firm earned over $280 million between April and June this year. The earnings were driven by strong user growth. During the quarter, Reddit's daily active unique users rose to over 91 million. Samsung has denied reports regarding its new generation memory chip, the HBM3E. Earlier, it was reported that the Samsung chip had passed NVIDIA's test, paving the way for its use in graphic processors. Memory chips are used to speed up data processing to help train artificial intelligence models. However, Samsung says that the test for its latest memory chip is still ongoing. American tech firm Dell has confirmed reports of massive layoffs. Meanwhile, the firm didn't reveal the specific number of job cuts, but reports say that Dell plans to let go of about 12,500 employees. This is about 10% of the firm's total workforce. Dell's sales team is expected to be primarily affected by these layoffs. Microsoft has blamed Delta Airlines for its struggle to recover from the cyber outage last month. Delta was severely impacted after a massive software outage hit Microsoft systems globally. The American airline struggled to recover its systems days after the outage. Now, Microsoft says that Delta Airlines struggled due to its old tech infrastructure. Microsoft said that its preliminary review suggested that Delta has not modernized its systems. Boeing has announced plans to make design changes to its aircraft to prevent future door blowout incidents. The announcement came during a hearing of the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board. The U.S. transport regulator is reviewing the mid-air door panel blowout incident involving a Boeing 737 MAX jet. Boeing has faced severe scrutiny since the incident took place in January. South Korean automaker Hyundai plans to set up an electric vehicle and battery manufacturing plant in Thailand. The car maker will invest about $28 million in the plant. It will be located in the southeast of Thailand's capital, Bangkok. Hyundai plans to start production at the plant by 2026. The French fashion brand Christian Dior has come under scrutiny in the UK. Reports say that the firm failed to disclose working conditions in its supply chain on time last month. Additionally, the report eventually published by Dior was outdated. The UK mandates that certain firms disclose the working conditions of workers in their supply chain. Dior is the second largest fashion brand under France's LVMH. The Indian government has announced the name of the next chairman of the State Bank of India, the country's largest public sector bank. The bank's most senior managing director, Chala Srinivasalu Sethi, has been tapped for the job. Sethi will replace the current chairman, Dinesh Kumar Khara, on August 28th. He's been appointed for a term of 3 years. Moving to sports, we start with updates from the Paris Olympics. In a massive heartbreak, India's top wrestler Vinesh Phogat, who was on the verge of clinching a gold, has now been disqualified ahead of her final round bout in the women's 50-kilogram category. Phogat was found slightly overweight during the weigh-in. She was the first Indian woman wrestler to have made it to the final. The Indian men's hockey team lost to Germany 2-3 in the Paris Olympics semi-finals, missing out on their first Olympic final in 44 years. Harmanpreet Singh and Sukhjit Singh scored for India, but Germany's goals from Gonzalo Pelat, Christopher Ruhr and Marco Miltkau proved decisive. India will now play Spain for the bronze medal, while Germany will face the Netherlands in the final. Double medal winner Manu Bhaker returned to India on Wednesday after winning 2 Olympic medals. Her flight from Paris landed at the Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi after a 1-hour delay. Hundreds of supporters and family members waited there despite the drizzle to welcome the star shooter to New Delhi. Bhaker and her coach Jaspal Rana received an enthusiastic reception at the airport. Imane Khalif, amid the gender dispute, aims to focus on making Algeria and the Arab world proud. She delivered an impressive performance against Thailand's Janjem Suwanafeng and reaching the welterweight final. The victory was celebrated by a cheering crowd of Algerian fans at the court Philippe Chatrier. The audience responded with a loud roar as Khalif was announced the winner. Mijian Lopez, at 41, has become the first athlete to win 5 consecutive Olympic golds in the same event. He clinched the gold with a 6-0 victory over Chile's Yasmin Acosta in the men's 130-kilogram Greco-Roman wrestling final. This was Lopez's first international competition since his gold medal win in Tokyo 3 years ago. The US defeated Brazil 122-87 and secured a spot in the Olympic basketball semi-finals against Serbia. A total of 6 US players scored in double figures. Devin Booker led with 18 points, while Anthony Edwards added 17. LeBron James contributed 12 points, 9 assists and 3 rebounds and 3 steals before leaving early due to an elbow injury. The other semi-final match is between France and Germany. Now we move to cricket news. Cricket Australia CEO Nick Hockley will resign at the end of the next cricket season. He has been CEO for 5 years and will leave around March 2025. His departure depends on finding a new successor though. Hockley has worked in Australian cricket for nearly 13 years. January 2022. Alvarez has helped Argentina win the World Cup and Copa America. He has also won 2 Premier League titles and the Champions League with Manchester City. City are set to make a significant profit on the Argentine forward. In entertainment news, in the recently announced MTV Video Music Awards or VMAs, Taylor Swift secured 10 nominations for her work. Her feat was followed by the rapper Post Malone with 9 nominations, and finally Sabrina Carpenter, Eminem and Ariana Grande received 5 nominations each. The VMAs will take place on the 10th of September. The South Korean singer Suga has apologized for drinking and riding an electric scooter. The BTS members agency issued a statement on his behalf. The agency also revealed that Suga's driver's license has been suspended and he has been fined. The rapper Machine Gun Kelly has opened up about his journey to sobriety. He revealed that he was in rehab last year. The rapper said that he hasn't had a drink since last August. He also credited his partner Megan Fox for helping him through it. The singer Halsey candidly spoke about suffering a miscarriage at the age of 20 during a concert. She made this revelation in a podcast. She said it was the worst nightmare for someone in their 20s. The singer revealed that going through the traumatic experience right before her concert, she said that she was afraid of breaking the heart of the audience waiting for her, so she put on an adult diaper and kept the show going. The legendary American rapper Pitbull has acquired the naming rights to the Florida International Stadium in the US. The stadium's name has now been changed to just Pitbull. The rapper signed a deal worth a whopping $1.2 million. He will have to pay this amount over the next 5 years. The stadium will also be specially available for the rapper 10 days a year. The creators of Schitt's Creek, Eugene and Dan Levy, are in talks to host the upcoming 2024 Primetime Emmys. The father-son duo are currently negotiating a deal. The actors have previously hosted the 2020 SAG Awards together. Stranger Things: The First Shadow, the stage play, will land on Broadway in 2025. It is based on the superhit Netflix series Stranger Things. The events of the play will highlight the years before the actual show's story. The names of the cast members will be announced later this year. The stars of the upcoming film It Ends With Us gathered in New York for its premiere. The cast, including Blake Lively, Justin Baldwin and Brandon Sklenar, stunned at the red carpet. The story of the film revolves around a love triangle. The movie will be released on the 9th of August. Dakota Fanning and Abby Elliott have joined the cast of All Her Fault. The thriller series is about a missing child. It's based on the 2022 book of the same name. The show is expected to release in 2026. Star Wars actor Daisy Ridley has been diagnosed with the Graves' disease. It's an immune system disorder that affects the thyroid gland. She revealed her diagnosis on a podcast. Ridley says that following the diagnosis, she has cut out gluten from her diet.